listening to the Let's Be Frank podcast.
I'm about to talk my shit. Huh?
All right. Welcome. Let's Be Frank podcast. You know who it is. It's your favorite Frankie Boy Jones. We have in the building today
DJ, Insta DJ.
Lily Rose _63.
And we have a special guest.
Joss Cambridge Simmons, guys. What's
Welcome.
happening? Also known as Jossicare. So
Yeah.
and Joss Simmons, if you've known me.
You know, the DJ, Joss Simmons, yeah. The DJ, not DJ, Insta DJ.
Yeah,
but
not
the
me.
DJ, Joss Simmons. You know, thank you for joining us.
It's
man.
all right, man. Long
Hope
time,
the journey
man.
wasn't too bad.
No, it was all right, man. It was all right.
Lovely. Always a pleasure seeing you, man. It's been a minute, innit?
Yeah.
It has been.
It has been, yeah, because I can't remember the last time I saw my
This
man.
one, innit?
Yeah.
DJ.
I've seen you,
Hey, look
Hello.
out, look out.
Welcome.
and then
Lucas in the building.
last time I saw Susie was before I went to Saudi. I
Okay.
had like a leaving little party.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
little leaving something.
We didn't get invited to that.
Yeah. Man missed that invite
Yeah.
still.
No invite for ODT. It's a shame.
Next time. You need to go get guest list next time, innit?
You know.
As always.
Welcome.
Oh,
your boy's just joined us.
Yeah. You just missed the intro, so it's cool. You come at the right time.
I'll go. What do you say?
There you are. What's happening?
Nice, man.
All right, listen. I'm going in. I'm jumping in at the deep end, yeah. Smacking other people's kids.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Hey, did you see my comment?
No. Before you start that, for those of you that don't know, Joss Simmons.
Yeah, okay,
Jossicare.
And even before
Yeah,
that, on that topic, they've just banned smacking in Scotland.
Oh, swear.
It's just turned it. Just literally today became.
Did you see my comment?
Swear. No.
Literally.
None of you saw my comment?
No.
Oh, man.
So wait. They've banned it in what sense? So what happens?
As in,
if I
it's
smack
against
my-
the law now. Like it's a criminal
You
offence.
can't
in
touch your
Scotland.
kids.
In Scotland, yeah,
They're mad.
literally.
They're
in
mad.
Scotland.
They've lost it. Are they all right?
So
Okay.
So is the child the witness or something?
I'm not sure how the ins and the outs of
Yeah,
that.
Don't act like when you weren't young, you didn't pick up the phone and dial 999. We've all
No,
done
it's
that.
childline. I
What?
tried to
Never
pattern
done that
that
in
up.
my life.
If I did that,
Ever.
I did get the beats.
I would have been raised in
in
Nigeria.
999.
She said
you
dial
know.
999.
No, if I did do that, I would have been raised in Nigeria.
And do you know what? Yeah,
If I tried
think
that.
when we was younger, yeah, we understood the implications of the social system.
Yeah, don't air your.
You know what? I'll rather hold these licks than go into care, bro. Like, you know that, like I'll rub that, and I think that's even the wrong foot to go off on it, because I think that's the reason why all of these stupid laws are being passed anyway. In the sense that a lot of people are coming off from that standpoint of abusing kids and hurting kids,
Yeah,
and
not discipline.
rather than, hang on, I'm the parent of this child. I have the best interest of this child more than anybody on this planet, because I birthed this kid.
Yeah.
This kid comes from me, and that doesn't mean, for you fundamentally have the right to, treat this child however you please. But ultimately, I believe anyway, like you have the strongest desire to make or want the best for that child.
Mm.
So how does the government now tell me that, okay, me not smacking my kid is abuse, or me smacking the kid is now extending it to
Yeah, but people
domestic
people
violence?
argue that there's different ways to discipline children.
Yeah, every kid is different.
But wait. Before we get into it though, I just want to give Jossie the floor, like so he can introduce himself, let the people know a bit about him, what he does for children, and all of these sorts of things. So yeah, Jossie, take the floor. Let us know what you do, man.
Jossicare.
Now, how can I put it? Because even now on the way here, I make friends with randomers. I made some friends on the train, and I kind of didn't know how to introduce what I do, because on a wider scale of things, it's more than just looking after children. Like, I run my own childcare service.
Okay.
I've been running my own childcare service for about 12 years, but I've been self-employed for the last 2. I've been qualified for the last 13 years. I used to be a nursery teacher and a nanny. Now I just nanny. But it's not really just nannying, where I have about 80 to 100 families on my books now for myself that just book me ad hoc to travel around the world or to work in London on various days of the week. I've got some families I work with permanently on 2 days a week. I've got a lot of experience with children on the
Sorry
autistic
to cut you
spectrum
off,
and everything like that.
I'm looking at you talking and I'm like, you are a black man sitting here
Yeah.
talking about looking after children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is,
And
it's unique. It's
And
different.
with even that, because I've been doing what I've been doing for years, like, I'm from North London, Islington, and somewhat Hackney. Like, everyone that knows me from the manor knows I've been working with children, babies, toddlers from when I was 19. I DJ, so I was doing both.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's times I'm be raving, we got Childcare. We got the babysitter in the building. And like, I'm in the rave with the man then. But like, on a wider scale, support families. I used to do father and baby groups, which I want to get into again. Supporting dads. I've got a slogan I called "Pick up the dads that do," to kind of give dads the energy and the confidence that they can do this. They got this in the bag, whether they're married, single fathers, same-sex fathers. As a whole, I support them and I believe in them as a father. And a lot of that stemmed from the way I was brought up. I was brought up with love, patience, and understanding. And my dad was there for me whether I wanted him to be there for me. So consistency, children need consistency, and that's why I get it from my dad. My mum was always there. Mum's been consistent. But seeing my dad as a black African man be consistent with me and love me the way he did, I've learned, I took the best out of it and interpreted it and remixed it for myself, and that's what I put into my work. Love, care, and dedication. But a lot of it also is professionalism, where I charge by invoice.
Okay.
I have an invoice system, I have cancellation policy, I have safeguarding policies that I've paid for. I don't have to have them because I'm a nanny, but I've got that. I've got terms and conditions. I've got a website.
Does this
like further like give you that professional edge?
Yeah.
Or is it also because, you know, you are a black male, which
Like,
is also unique? So
it's more of a the professional edge and the brand. If I'm honest, my colour only speaks when it's mentioned.
Right, okay.
Most of my clients are Caucasian.
Okay.
I've got a small amount of black clients, but neither of them mention my colour when they're booking me. The ones that do speak on it like, their children are going to first-hand experience African, Caribbean, English culture. And these parents love it.
Yeah.
Because I come round and when I cook sometimes, I'll be cooking plantain and rice and peas. Or I can't cook jollof, but I might get a takeaway and bring it over and give it to the kids. And introduce them to rare groove and soul. And when we're doing nursery rounds, I might remix it, add like a little rap bar or I play a little reggae and love a drop to the children. Because the essence of that music and the soul in it is good. And I've got children now that love Dennis Brown and Bob Marley. And mums are like, oh, what's this? And then the dads know it because the dads know music. So I'm sending them playlists on Spotify just of the roots and revival. And even I introduced some families to Fela Kuti and I introduced a mum recently to Burna Boy.
Wow.
Because the message Burna Boy is giving out, the mum loved it. So I'm kind of breaking barriers, teaching culture and being myself. I stand on being myself. If I can't be myself where I am, I'm not going to come into the building.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the building being myself and it's going to be awkward for everybody in the building.
That's sick, man. How was your journey starting it? Like, the best way to probably put it is before you went, what's the word when you go it alone?
Self-employed.
Self-employed, yeah. That's it. Before you went self-employed.
Before I went self-employed, I was a nursery teacher in various nurseries all over London, all over the UK. I'd worked for government nurseries and private nurseries. I realised I've worked for some of the best private nurseries in the land. So my training and my work ethic that I had from them was up to the highest degree.
Yeah, you know what? I can even believe you, man, said this, the best of the land. Yeah. You say the country and the land.
But then imagine I was still myself. So I would babysit some nights and then finish babysitting at 11, have a 12 o'clock set in Ifbar. Because I was DJing from those days.
Yeah, you're local. I said Ifbar,
and then like end up DJing somewhere. And then I'll bump into the parents from the nursery I work in with the kids. Mad. Or there's times when New Year's have come around, parents have phoned me like, we need tickets for the rave. Where you DJing? I'll DJ then go back to the house and babysit while they go and party.
Sick.
As in regards to the journey, I was working 13 years within nurseries. I worked in care homes with children and young adults with severe mental health issues and behavioural issues, and that have come out of incarceration. And I did family support work with them, and as a support worker, I also did family support work on weekends with families with severe needs that would come on the weekend just to get social, like training on how to be sociable with their children. If English wasn't their first language, things on like how to pay a bill, how to set up direct debits, how to keep their children engaged and engage with their children, and then let them run the groups themselves and kind of help the mums and the dads build confidence. And I did things like run father and baby groups, where I'm coming to a stage now, people contact me for advice. A lot of dads contact me for advice. A lot of mums contact me for advice. And as much as I've experienced and I know what I'm doing, it's humbling. Because when people come to me for advice, says I'm 31, whether I was 19, 20 or 31, it's like, these people are still seeking my service and my guidance. And it's like, raw, like I'm still shocked. I won an award recently and I still get humbled when people phone me and ask me questions about childcare.
Did you
I won a National Diversity Award.
Yeah, bring that out.
For being a positive role model.
Yes.
And
I can't clap.
there was 28,000 there was 28,000 contestants overall.
28,000?
Yeah, on the board overall in different categories. In my category there were 7. And I was up against some people that have got PhDs and
man, I pull out the plaque and ting, the whole trophy cabinet thing.
PhDs and doctors and uni, and I never went uni. I haven't got a degree. So
shout out,
big.
you, man.
And it's nice because
Can we just say once again, sorry, he's a black male nanny.
You was out the room, man.
Like, I have to give him my own, innit? I have to give him my own, like, with an award. Like, come on, like, that's,
and I think I got about 3,000 votes.
Sick.
It's a lot of votes.
Yeah.
Sick. So it's like, and I recently got invited to 10 Downing Street for dinner.
Sick.
For Black History Month.
Just getting places I'm sure you wouldn't have even imagined.
So it's like, it's humbling, it's an experience, but I have to go harder.
Very proud.
Because I can't tell you you're the best at what you do, give you all the accolades in the world. You've got to show us now. It's show and tell time. When I stepped off stage, I gave a nomination speech, come off stage, I've checked the socials, checked my email. I got an email within 10 minutes of giving that speech saying, I need childcare services in Northampton for a weekend on so date, because they saw me on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I now have to go and work and show them exactly why I won the award, let them know why I'm doing what I'm doing. So for me, the hard work starts now.
But at the same time, you know, enjoy your wins. You know?
Definitely.
Like you just said, you're going 10 Downing Street, and even though I just messed around with Frank just a minute ago, like again, we have to emphasize it because I think that will bring me to my last question with regards to the informative side of things.
Yeah,
in the sense that you are a black man doing this. Yeah. And it's not even a predominantly.
And I love the fact I'm a black man doing
it. It's not even like a male-driven industry in itself, not to my knowledge anyway.
It's not really.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
whether in the classroom or in the household, there's not a lot.
My next question would be: any young men that want to aspire and want to go into, nannying and whatnot, what would your advice be? What would be the routes that they could go down?
As for a route, look into MVQs in childcare or early years degrees in early years foundation. A degree in child psychology will elevate your mind, let alone your soul. And don't be scared to just go for it. Like literally, because as men, we don't know we're good at working with kids and caring until we're in moments when we've got to care for other children that aren't family. And I know a lot of men that would be great with children.
Yeah.
And it keeps you out of trouble because if you need a DBS, you need a clean CRB. So I was never prone to getting in trouble, but because I was working from 19 in nurseries, I couldn't.
Yeah, you knew what your priority was.
I couldn't. I might rave, I might go to an after party, I might stay out late, I might go out, I might like shopping. I had to keep on the straight and narrow. So when my friends were going left, which none of them really went left, I had to go right. And then they would make me go right where they go left because they kind of saw the vision I had from Wade. And I think energy for me as well, energy that I've got put into me as a youth, and love, I never really was, like I was around it and I saw stuff growing up in the area I was, but I always knew there was another way. And my dad showed me Belly and films like Shotters and showed me there's a route other than this, because Paid in Full and them films there's no one wins. R.I.P. Louis Rankin as well recently, but no one really wins. So he showed me this and gave me the message that no one in these films wins.
Nah, but you are well and truly winning, my brother, man.
Thank you,
and it's
man.
something
Thank
to
you.
be commended, my bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And on that note, I like how you brought in Teddy Buckshot.
No.
All
We
right.
need to talk about these bastard children.
Well, no, we're going back.
That don't want to get
I'm
smacked.
giving him a quick RIP,
Lord.
man. The original Dun Dada.
Shout out Teddy.
Why?
Nah.
Big
Big part
may
of my
rest in
childhood.
peace.
What's
History, man, that
the
guy.
other one in Belly? It was Mosey and Bully
Ox.
in Ox. That's it.
Ox. Real Dun
Dun
Dada.
Dada.
For fun.
But it's
We're
even,
scared of no one.
it's even in that in Belly, everyone wanted to be DMX, no one wanted to be Naz. Like we all want to buy bricks and mortar now, don't we? We all want to get back to Ghana and Nigeria now, don't we?
It's true.
And we're struggling to get back home. Like the message was there for us as youth, man. We just didn't take it in.
You know when everybody screams, stay woke, but
Yeah.
you don't want to wake up.
You don't want to wake up.
You don't want to wake up.
Yeah.
No,
It's so
listen,
mad.
sorry, I'm itching.
Right,
These
so-
kids, yeah.
Slapping your youth.
These unruly kids that think that they can get away with murder and their parents that want to allow them and empower them to get away with murder. Now, when their kids are like 15, 16, doing splash and dash on the street, yeah, and drillings and all of that, that's when they want to start saying, they're
No,
coming.
but first off,
Man
do
says
you
slash
guys
and
have
definitely.
children? And the people here that do have children, do you discipline them yourself? And how do you discipline your children?
Yes, I do. I got
Oh, so by the way, also I part-time do childcare, and that was because of Joss, who inspired me to do it.
And it's Michael, I met Susie for DJing.
imagine
Like that was my plug on the door.
Yeah.
Full circle, innit?
Like, we became friends because you know I could get you guest list.
Yeah.
I could go any rave she worked at and I could just get in. And then we just built a relationship became friends, and then came full circle. She now does childcare because I kind of helped her get into it and let her know the route.
You know, since we're
But-
all doing our bits for society,
Yeah.
I also have been a mentor, you know, looking after kids for the best part of a year and, you know, a half. So I've been
See,
pretty good at
what
doing
was
what I was doing.
what's the thing that
Evolving
you do?
adapt.
What's the setup that you was working for?
Oh yeah, Evolve and Adapt. Really, really good. They were even on Sky, so they actually deal with like kids that are, you know, going through troubles in school, getting kicked out, or don't go to school anymore. And it's sort of for like behavioural kids that are, you know, going through it at home, and it really, really, it's fulfilling because it lets you really, really understand, you know, how unbiased like life circumstances can be for an individual. Do you get what I'm saying? Like life doesn't discriminate. It could just give you the shittest set of hands, and looking at it from the outside.
Life will humble you.
Real quick, and looking at it from the outside, like literally from working with these kids, you know when you used to think, I'm Nigerian, let me tell you, I lived in Nigeria a little bit, I know what sufferness is. And sometimes you think, right, at least, my mum and dad had me patterned regardless of anything. Some of these kids ain't even got none of that, you know? And the government
those are the kids that didn't get smacked. Telling you. Those are the kids that didn't get
some
smacked.
of them, their parents.
Sorry,
Some of the parents were going OTT on the smacking.
Kids themselves.
I'm not leaving this topic.
And that's how it happened. But yeah, I guess somebody that's helping shape the future.
Even with that, as in regards to the smacking children, when you work with children in a certain capacity and you study child psychology, your thought process on how to approach children in those circumstances will change.
Yeah, because there's no manual when you have children.
There's no manual
with them.
However, I will still smack my child.
See,
but I think we do that in result to we don't know a lot. Like we realize we don't know when
I feel like it's ignorance.
And what our parents did with us, they did what they knew best to do with us.
Can I ask you something?
They didn't know any better.
I love how you said that. Do you believe that all kids have their own mindsets?
Yeah,
like in terms of
from a certain age upwards. Yeah,
yeah, right. So I always use myself as an example. Yeah, in terms of when I'm explaining upbringing and whatnot, because it's easy to talk from the next person's perspective.
Yeah.
You weren't there. Do you get what I'm saying? But me personally, I know how stubborn I was.
Yeah.
I know how, from a very early age, I had a very, very strong mind. Do you get what I'm saying? And the reality of it is, I am ever so grateful for the licks, the punishment, the way I was brought up. Some of it, was a bit OTT sometimes, you know, but it was to the capacity of what they knew. You know, and we are better informed and we do know different approaches and whatnot. So, yes, that's not the first option, but I'm a firm believer in I am my father's child. My child will be just like me. And his mindset might not be the one that is, Johnny, mate, don't do that. You have to understand and communicating. And sometimes you have to understand that, listen, if I tell you that fire is going to burn you, you might not understand. You might still want to put your hand there because you know what? You ain't felt it. But when you now feel that fire, it hurts you. You know in your brain next time, I can't do that. And sometimes some kids, they don't understand being told. you have to experience it. And sometimes you have to behave yourself, brother. And you start to develop. And I was listening to a radio today. It was in talk radio, and this talk radio. The show is predominantly quite upper class, middle class, white-ish, rich backgrounds, and a lot of the views were like, "Yo, I listen. I would give him a hiding because it builds character. It allows you to, understand discipline in different capacities, and also gives you confidence in understanding that you have to just." Stick with it. Go through certain things, But saying that, it's a slippery slope. But then I think people do borderline, abuse.
But I think a lot of that is because we've been brought up suffering, and a lot of it's embedded in us. Where we've got to teach our children that you suffer and you go through stuff. When I think that's been shown to us inherently, and we don't realise that it's kind of a default setting sometimes for us.
It's smacking your kid suffering. That's the thing. You got to remember how you attribute this. Remember, there's smacking your kid because you're frustrated, and there's smacking your kid because it's just outright discipline.
But then, from a child's point of view, okay, if you look at domestic violence, wait,
oh my god,
bro,
and you're saying they're shaky, bro. That's it, bro.
And that's what it is. Like in a lot of our cultures, we're not letting our children have voices. So when I said that he reacted like that, true. We're not letting our children have voices and speak
because of the way you say that.
And a lot of it, the other side of it is a lot of us don't realise the traumatic effect it has.
Trauma has had.
Yes, bruv. Okay,
that will carry through to adulthood.
If you look at
teenage,
I agree. We know a lot of roadmen that have did X, Y, and Z. They've been in prison. We see them on the news. They have PTSD. They're not okay.
Do you think it's because they got smacked?
No. I'm saying
because they saw someone get shanked
because of what they've gone through. What do you think our children are going to say when we're saying to my child, "I love you, but I'm beating you"?
No. Okay. Let me chime in. Let me jump in.
It's the problem.
All right,
Language is the bad thing,
This is the
man. I'm not sorry. Quickly, I'm not English. I have to put that out there because there's certain English words here that don't correlate with what I'm trying to say in this brain. When you use the word beating. Sorry, Frank. I have to. Beating is a very negative word. Like, boy, I'm not beating you. I'm smacking you then because
disciplining you.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's blurring that line for people.
Okay, but going back to Josh's point, this is all you guys know. You've never done a psychology degree.
I just told you I meant
you haven't.
So that's not all I know.
You don't have children anyway, so
that means my point is invalid,
right?
Do you have children?
No, I don't. But I work with children. I work with small children closely, and I can understand some of them. Their parents beat them, so I can see the difference between the ones that get beaten and the ones who is like, "You've got a jar of marbles up there, Johnny, and you've misbehaved. I'm going to empty all the marbles.
You go and sit on the naughty step.
If you don't behave yourself." And sometimes that marbles thing will work better. A lot of times, the marbles thing works better than the smacking.
Yeah.
At what age though?
Different ages between 2
and as well, children are products of their environment. So if children are showing certain behaviours, I've got to look at myself as the adult in the household.
Of course.
I don't believe that.
And I've got to be accountable for the way that my child's now handling themselves and handling situations and dealing with stuff because of the way I approach them, let alone I approach
the ones that got smacked, for example, in school, the teacher coming, he was smacking another child. Where did he learn that smacking?
Why did he smack?
Because I'm finding little shit, bro.
Home.
But why did he smack them?
Wait. Hold on.
You could have learned it off TV.
It's like, you lot don't want me to land on this subject, innit? It's like to say, you're not scared of what I'm going to say, blood. Like, this is the thing. It stemmed from, obviously, I saw a post about it. But then I also watched a clip from the Kardashians where there was this whole uproar because Mummy Kardashian's boyfriend, the black guy, said he'd put his hand on a youth that scratched. If a youth scratched him in the face, he'd put his hand on the youth.
Yeah, but he wasn't talking about his own child. This is the point. He was talking about somebody else's child, right?
Okay, but that's Frank's point, isn't it? Smacking someone else's child. It's not even smacking your own.
What we're talking about is cool. Just in regards to upbringing, they say a village raises a child. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that village mentality was that everyone could beat you.
Trust me.
Where that saying's come from is that it's not just your mum and dad that's gonna
anyone
whip
can
you.
pattern
If
you.
they see you truanting, you're getting smacked and sent to school, or you understand? Which for me, okay, let me not put my own personal opinion yet. Just kind of break down the evolution of things, innit? Cool. So a community raises a child based on anyone can discipline your child. That's the key thing there. The key word, discipline. It might not necessarily be beats. It could be a strong telling off. It could be a punishment. You understand? Or it possibly could be beats. Now, where society's evolved, it's like you can't tell kids nothing no more.
The thing is, we can. It's just the way to go about it.
No, because you'd come to...
Life
come on, you know Izzy, yeah? You know Izzy. Put it this way, I'll give you an example. There was one day I was at football training with my son, and some kids rolled into the training compound on their bicycles. Just like, oh, what's going on here? Like, oh, football training. Now the coach is like, oh, what do you boys want here? This is a closed session, innit? So like, you shouldn't be in here. One of the kids, fuck off, who are you? Who's that? Shut up. Giving it the big one to the coach.
Yeah.
The coach is like, what? Who are you talking to? Get out of here. Like, the other two kids that know the coach were like, no, don't do that. Let's go. What do you do with that kid that's unruly? If he decides that he doesn't want to go, and what do you do? How do you assert discipline?
We don't go slap him.
I'm not saying go and slap him.
There's only so much you can say. After a while, you just got to leave him. He's not your child.
But the point I'm making in that sense is, these are the type of kids we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Do you know? And it, like, for me, from what I'm looking at...
How old was that child, by the way?
I don't believe he was any older than maybe 14.
Okay, but that's quite old. So then, the only reason why I'm mentioning the age is because way before that, who knows what he's gone through to end up to that stage.
Okay.
You know.
This is where the judgment gets clouded, innit? And these kids get excused their behaviours, innit? Like, some kids are bad.
But why? And where are they coming from?
Yeah.
Some kids, it's a choice. It's just them. Because I had kids okay, you look at some children, yeah? Is it I've forgotten the name of the brothers, the Jimenez brothers or something, that killed their parents. They killed their mum and dad for the inheritance. They came from a wealthy family, treated good, had love. The mums, they said the kids were well looked after. They killed their mum and dad.
On the outside.
That's not a product of your environment.
Can I quickly say something? Yeah. Because this is, I feel like this is the slippery slope we're falling into as a society, yeah? Like, we all know there's factors we cannot factor in because it's within your mind. Like, in terms of, like, for example, is a kid naturally just born bad? We will never know that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's in that kid's mind. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the area X, let's say. Yeah. Now, one thing that I liked in what you guys were saying, yeah, which I agree to an extent, yeah, which is things start from somewhere. Do you get what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, a child is born, it's dependent on the family setup. Yeah. Decisions are made way before this child is brought into this environment, you know, that are responsibilities of the parents, you know, bringing this child into this environment. Now, like life and like that X factor that I explained in terms of the unknown, like that child is every child is birthed into a world where that child has no choice in that world for the best part of, say, 10 years. Let's use that as a barometer, yeah? 10 years. So 10 years, I have to be raised and be dependent on someone, on these people that have birthed me. Now, these people that have birthed me, if the circumstances are not set up right for them to be able to ensure my upbringing, yeah, then now there's now this, in what she said, to an extent, that lack of responsibility of self. Do you get what I'm saying? There's one thing that I pick up with African culture, yeah, in as much as a lot of things are very backwards, yeah, there's a lot of things, yeah, that at later life, yeah, they come to make so much more sense. In the sense that, for example, if at an early stage in your life, you are somewhat naughty and your parents are scolding you or whatever, they get to a point with African culture where it's not just them that will scold you. It's people outside. So that message is further hitting because it's not just coming from one source.
It teaches you that don't do nonsense outside
as well.
If you get caught,
so
you'll be in trouble.
Using a direct example, with this generation, you have a lot of kids that would say to somebody that they don't know that's older than them that might pick them out on something that they're doing wrong. Like, bro, shut up. You don't know me. You're not my dad. I don't know you. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas I grew up in a generation where, in as much as I know I'm in a society where I can say that. Yeah. I naturally just have this.
Yes, it's just
there's a lump in my throat before I can even begin to. Do you know what I'm saying? No matter, even like with white people, for example, I can't even call a Ian. Like, if I do it, I have to think about it and then go. It feels unnatural. Yeah, it doesn't feel natural. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think we're losing a sense of that with our kids 100%. Now, in the sense that we're giving too much cadence to. Oh well. How did you grow up? Yeah. Oh well, your environment was
looking for excuses.
Yeah, it's like let's not use the word excuses because everybody. No, the reason why I say let's not use excuses because everybody's set of circumstances. You never know how grave or extreme that circumstance could be.
Yeah,
but in using a different sort of language, like there's always a reason to everything in life, and the reality of it is. Later on in your life, my bro, when life slaps you, you're not going to be able to see it coming. You see, you just have to prepare for it.
You see,
do you get what I'm saying?
You see,
and it's the same way with your upbringing. Like you as a person, you just have to be prepared to be the best person you can be, irrespective of your parents, influence on how you've grown up or your environment. Because long term, it's only you that will benefit or not from how you become. If you're 18 and you've been brought up a certain way, but life now shows you that it's not going to be smooth sailing for you, and you don't know how to adapt in that moment. You're L. And like you said, you could be rich, perfect upbringing, but because you haven't actually gone through no character building situations, another L. You're L. So
sorry to cut you off. Just in keeping with what you're saying in terms of the whole, it's the heritage. That's a fundamental part in a lot of what we're saying. The heritages of us at this age compared to what's going on with these kids and the lack of heritage that they have now. Because what I'm kind of getting at is the whole saturation of cultures. Do you get what I'm saying? I've like those from Caribbean backgrounds, African backgrounds, even Asian backgrounds. That whole heritage and discipline from your community from a young age is instilled in you. Like, you understand? Like Lucas is saying, for me to call an adult by their first name, I was gassed. The first time I could call an adult cold by their first name, I was excited. I thought, I've made it. I'm a grown up now. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to be able to feel like, okay, do you know what? The respect I have for you, I call you sir, miss, auntie, uncle, mum or dad, innit? Do you understand? Now, that resonated. Although I wasn't your model child. In school, I was a little bit of a rebel. But you see, at home, I was an angel.
Well, see, this is the trouble I have with a lot of children now.
I was an angel. In school, the fear of knowing that my parents would be called humbled me a lot of the time. Because to know that, okay, cool, my mum's going to come to this school and before she even hears what the teacher has to say that I did wrong.
The fact that she got called.
The fact that she got called away from whatever she was doing. First things first. Jay Batikon, just one slap.
Even first the police that they were used to say, even the police, it was not, call the police.
Listen.
Call the police, it's better.
Like, my thing is, okay, cool, I'll give you an example. My cousin, her mum beat her. She picked up the phone. I'm calling the police. Manny said, crack on. In fact, give me the phone.
I'll help you.
She called the police. Yeah, my daughter wants to talk to you. Cool. The police came because, that sort of thing, they will still kind of show up just to check, make sure everything's all right, innit? So they showed up. Said, what's going on? Said, yeah. She called you because I smacked her.
Yes.
Oh, well, you can't,
that guy.
Tell them what you did before I beat you, innit? See when it's like, well, listen, you know, your mum sets rules. You got to listen to them. You know, like avoids all of this and.
Well, you can't do that in Scotland now.
Nah, this is the thing. This is the thing. Now, what I'm saying is cool. Going back to the point, the original post about like putting your hands on other people's kids.
I think you make a valid point there as well. By the way, in the sense that even the police officers at that time would come to the house.
They kind of understand.
And this is the difference between smacking your kid because you love and discipline your child
and battering your youth,
doing it out of frustration and abuse. Because even the police will come to your house. Your parents will tell you, "Yes, I smacked my child." Yeah. It's not a case where they're trying to hide it. They'll tell you, openly. Right, I did it. They'll even tell you, "Do you want to go social services? Maybe it'll be better for you there." Like
they'll give you over to the social services. Like, okay, cool. You don't want me to be
as much as you was afraid to talk. There was dialogue, bro. Like it might not be the dialogue like it is now, and I personally don't think it's healthy dialogue now. Like I honestly don't believe that, and I don't know how you might crucify me for this, but I don't care.
A child has rights. That's what you're gonna say. Something like that.
Kids can't have too many opinions.
Yeah,
you're growing.
You're especially learning, amongst grown-ups.
That's not healthy.
Especially amongst grown-ups.
That stems from our upbringing. Because don't forget, we were told, speak when you're spoken to.
Seen and not heard.
That's what we was brought up on.
Yes.
When's it going to change?
It changes when you're old enough to understand it. Hold on. It changes when you're old enough to understand that change. And I say this here because
the way you said that.
I use myself as an example. I used to smack up my aunties and uncles. I swear to God. You come into my family, I was a bad breed. Yeah, the London boy that come to Nigeria. You smack me, I'm getting a shank. Yeah. I'm bottling you. I especially with my family, I was that guy. Don't touch me. I'm a London boy. Rare. All this that you're talking, you can't hit me. Rare. But you see, when I grew up and I realized something,
and it clicked.
You see, all of that I went through, it taught me how to understand the fear of God. It taught me how to understand discipline. It taught me to know my place in understanding, okay, right, I have to earn the right to talk when I'm talking.
Don't just put your mouth.
I need to be able to be heard when I'm talking in that setting. Do you get what I'm saying? It installed a different kind of confidence in me. And yes, don't get me wrong, there are things that I've crossed over in terms of to the negative. I might be a bit over aggressive in certain circumstances and situations.
What's that bar in that song?
I've been like that, but obviously maybe because I got smacked that bit more, it added to that extra bit of aggression.
Fight back.
Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why I don't completely disagree with you guys, but the beautiful thing with our culture, and this is where we don't need to get lost in, Black History Month. Let's not get lost in Western civilization source, Our culture is there for a reason. We have our roots there for a reason. And not everything from those cultures and roots and traditions are perfectly right.
They were good for that time.
A lot of them are good for a reason. They have long-term messages. And you have to really deep and understand it. You have to be really into your culture. Like I said, I got smacked. I was that kid. And I think
we all got smacked. Did we all get smacked?
Look at how you turned up.
Darling,
wonderful.
The level I got smacked to the level that you got
I didn't like that smacking, boy. I hate it.
It's different kind of levels of smacking. I got sent to Nigeria.
No. I got battered.
How do you know?
I trust me. No. I know. The way you're talking, I know.
Based on current day like levels, I didn't get smacked. I got battered. Like based on what we talk about. Like I'm that kid that got what some people are fighting against.
They're saying is abuse.
What they're saying is abuse.
We're still saying, you know what?
No, it's done me right. It's done me right.
Like we learned.
No, do you know what? Fam. In like cool. Cool. Again, bringing it back to the whole disciplining another person's child. Sometimes I go to kids' parties, and I see some kids. Very unruly children.
That's a very unruly kid.
Listen, very unruly children. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, let me catch you doing that to my son. Me and your parents are gonna fight. We're gonna have to fight because if I can't check you, and this is the thing, like this is what we're talking about.
Hey, man, chat to your youth.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Chat to my man, I'm gonna slap him real quick.
You see that there, I don't believe that should be the case. When it comes to children, as an adult, as long as I'm not teaching the child wrong or steering the child in the wrong way, I should be able to assert myself as an adult.
Everybody chill, man. I'm gonna slap that dad, you know.
And check that you. Now, what happens a lot of the time? Yeah?
Nobody's disagreeing with your check-in, Frank.
No,
but we're gonna say
might be a backhand, innit?
No,
like,
you can't touch my child.
No, real talk. No, let me
use that example.
I have a you. You're not in my family.
Cool. No.
You're not in my family. If you were my brother or something, I'm gonna have to assess the situation and how hard you slap them. No. But if you're a stranger, like you're a stranger looking at them kids,
so let me put this.
And you touch my youth. Oh,
so let me give you the scenario.
All hell might break loose, but I agree with you so quickly. I agree with you.
You can't touch other strangers' children. Maybe if you're a niece or nephew.
Can I quickly say something? All hell will break loose. But I won't do it in front of that child in the sense that, and this is the problem.
That's what I was going.
We need to make sure our children respect the hierarchy of stages of life. You are an adult for a reason. You're a child for a reason.
Just chat to a big man like that.
Even when I was a kid and I was getting slapped and smacked and whatever, sometimes when I can't do nothing, I'll be like, you know what? Let me wait till I'm 18, innit?
When I'm older, innit?
Let me wait till I'm 21, innit? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because, and then when you get to 21, you're like, you know what? Right, like, okay, I understood why I went through that at that point. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not even giving these kids this opportunity now. At 16, my man, like, bruv, I'll chef you, bruv.
Alright, so deep this now. Cool.
Young flicky.
Listen, you said about the village mentality.
No, wait.
Being out and talking to other people's children. There were some children, I look after a 4-year-old who's now turned 5 actually. And we were in the park and these girls who were obviously too big to be in the kiddie playground were there. I'm not going to say anything to you. I'm just looking at you thinking, you look about 14. What are you doing in the kids' playground? But no problem. They were standing on top of the slide, like it's like a little gymnasium thing. You got the slide, you got the climbing bit and all that. They're standing there eating their snacks. You know how kids are. They get a box of juice and Pringles and whatever with the little pocket money. And they threw all the rubbish on the floor right under the slide. And then left and went to another section of the park. Now, my neighbor, I was with her children, the 3 children. One's a baby. He's like 2. Obviously, you know, children, they get down the slide. He's 2. He starts picking up the rubbish and like putting it in his mouth and all this kind of thing. I wasn't looking. My neighbor went and spoke to the girls. She's African, Ghanaian to be exact, and came back. She's like, oh, those girls are so rude. I looked over. I was like, of course they're rude because, you know, they just didn't have no respect in it. Like 3 of them were Caucasian. 1 was like mixed. And I just know they're going to come. They're going to be looking. And I heard them saying something about, oh, that African lady with her accent, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, okay, cool. So I've gone over and I was like, sorry, ladies, you know, you've left some rubbish on the floor and whatever. And then 3 of them, the Caucasian ones, weren't looking at me because I was dressed how I was now with my hoodie.
So you look like a gang member?
I can't look like a gang member. Look at me.
Yeah, you look like a gang member.
I dressed up like a sexy boy.
You're like you're out there trying to do drillings and that.
But, you know, just the thought, I could have left it, but I said no. Sometimes, especially me looking how I was dressed.
Yeah.
You know, and being
like
younger.
You didn't look like an auntie, basically.
Right. So I didn't look like an auntie. So I thought, let me go and assess the situation, talk to them, try and say that she could pick up the rubbish or whatever. And the mixed one was the rudest one and the only one. She's like, why are you looking at me? I was like, in my head, I gave her a backhand. But in reality, I just went, sorry, love, you're the only one that's making eye contact. All your other friends are scared. You guys need to pick up your rubbish. We're here with the kids, them. You're too big to be in this playground. She weren't getting it. So I just had to be a bit stern with her. That's what she understood.
What's a bit stern? And what do you feel like? What do you mean by that's what she understood?
Well, this is it. It was just talking. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Put my hand on no one's children. Or attempt to. But it was just talking to them in a way that they understood. The way she came at me, I could tell that she's somewhere at home. The family's like rough, innit? You can just tell by the way, because you can't be brave enough to talk to a stranger like that. Though. You can't be brave enough to talk to a random stranger who looks a bit, like you said,
like a young thing. You're not an auntie.
No,
like
I'm with Lucas because I wasn't like, I'm not going to tell the story after, but a lot of these children, like this, they teenagers school uniform, like year 8, year 9.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Right. So this is the thing. So what I said to her, after she wasn't being very responsive and she was being rude, I said, you know what? To be honest, if I didn't have like a reputation to uphold, I would drape you up.
For some kids, that would be a catalyst.
But I'm not going to. Hold on. But I said, don't worry about that. I'm here told her the days. I said, you know how I look. If you go and tell your parents and they have any issue with how I spoke to you, let them come and we can discuss it. Fast forward 2 months later, I saw some woman walking up to me. As soon as I looked at the woman's face, I thought, that's that woman's family member because they look similar. And she came up to me. She's like, excuse me, I need to talk to you. I was like, yeah, I know what you want to talk to me about because you and your daughter. She's like, oh, it's my granddaughter. I said, you look the same. She goes, yeah. She said that, you know, children, they're blowing it up, making some next story. And the woman's like, with her hand on her hip. I said, I don't have any problem with you or your granddaughter, but at the end of the day, they're too big to be in here. This is for young children. And she had, you know, she listened to what I had to say. She's like, oh, I know, because sometimes you know these kids. But she's not really a rough ragamuffin, is she? She wasn't rude to you. And I was looking like, but that's her grandma. That's the opinion that her grandma has of her. She's sweet at home. She would never talk out of turn. I said to her, no, she was very rude, actually. And that's why I said to her, like, I can't converse with you. She was annoyed, visibly. And I said, if you have any issue with how I've spoken to you, but I've spoken to you, that's the main thing, innit? Because you can't go around disrespecting other people from different cultures. You're half black yourself. You know?
My only fear is that child fully doesn't understand the implications of what you've taught her.
Well, hopefully the parent can now go, the grandma can go home and have a dialogue.
Question. That same girl that you spoke to, supposing she slapped you.
No, because I just feel like...
No, answer the question. So if that same girl that you spoke to, if she put her hands on you, like she pushed you, like, fuck off, here we go, you're
she's really going to have to be some real crazy person.
Oh, what, you haven't met one yet?
No, because sometimes I feel like in just levels, like, you know the energy you're dealing with. I don't look like the type of person. Like the auntie who was older.
What area was this?
This was in Poinders. South London.
What I'm saying is,
the older lady that came over looked like a pushover. Now, when I came over and said the exact same thing the older lady said, I wasn't met with as much disrespect.
Okay, that's fine.
They just kept their head down and they walked off.
That's fine.
But you made an assumption of the girl's situation at home when you was initially narrating the story.
I said, yeah, for you to be the only person that would speak up out of that. Yeah,
I was trying to get to something you said. But after, remember I said, well, hopefully I don't think she'll grasp the message that you've given her in that moment.
Yeah.
Now, her parent, who you alluded to,
the grandma, yeah.
Your initial reaction was, well, she's not come from that sort of background where that's actually happening at home anyway. Otherwise, she wouldn't have met you with that sort of, you know, reaction in the first place of disrespect. Based on your assumption. Because remember, that's what you said.
Yeah, I said she had to be a bit cheeky, and it showed because the grandma was like, "Oh, she's not like that. She's this, she's that."
My bigger message
to you,
my bigger message is that, you know, if we leave children or people in general going in life in situations of interaction, hoping that wherever their situation is at home is going to go and correct them, it's almost an injustice of that encounter. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's a breakdown in the community,
and that's what I think is happening now, where everybody's so hell-bent on, I don't care, it's your life. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's not my problem.
But the bigger
picture but I wasn't trying to make it her life. I was actually standing up to say to her, look, you can't be like this. With whatever repercussion come. Her parent could have come over and been crazy and come with a hammer. We don't know. But I felt at that time, being part of the village to raise the child,
can I throw a question
it was important to say something to them.
Joss here? Just what,
before that question, I've just addressed it. It's a crazy situation. Because like Lucas said before, where the statement was a bit wild, it's like on the other side of it, these children can get you in some serious trouble when you've approached them to be like, why did you do that? Can you stop, please? Because I was on the bus one day, confident as I am, these schoolgirls were basically bullying this guy on the bus. I think they kept hitting the back of the chair, and the guy was white. He asked them to stop politely. And I've realised a lot of black kids, I love them, they're black, they use their colour of their skin to intimidate others. So they kind of badded him up. He's a grown man. There's about year 9. They badded him up. And I kind of spoke to them. Then they basically badded me up. But in my head, I'm like, I've spoken to them. I haven't been thorough. I've been polite. But she wasn't caring.
Yeah.
And it's that situation there where I could speak again, and then what? She wants to try and fight me on the bus, end up on the news, random black guy on the bus beats up girl. When all I did was speak up. So I think we can speak up to an extent, but know when to draw back.
Okay, sorry, please. I want to, it's you that I want to help you. I want you to help me.
Follow us on Instagram at LetsBFrank Podcast.
I'm about to talk my shit. Huh?